What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. A little bit later of an upload today compared to normal. This morning I had to drive a couple hours to go pick up some One Piece boxes. So if you watch the secondary channel, you will see that video tonight. I finally got my hands on a blue bottom Romance Dawn booster box, so I'm excited about that. The box isn't in the best shape though, so eventually I might upgrade and try and get a better one. But today, try and keep this on topic, we'll talk about Sun and Moon era. I haven't finished the spreadsheet update, so if you guys are in the spreadsheet, maybe check in a couple hours. I'm almost done. I got through most of the important stuff, I'd say. Team Up, all the other tag team sets that are very popular, and then we looked at the ETBs. So I'm just going to give a quick rundown of what's going on. And it's still crazy out there. Like every single month, every couple of weeks when I do the update, it just seems like prices just keep going up. I was talking about Unbroken Bonds and Unified Minds, these being like $1,700, $1,800 boxes. I think this update, they were both over 2K. So these boxes are continuing to climb. Same thing with Cosmic Eclipse. There were a couple lower sales towards kind of like the start of the 2-week period, which have kind of skewed the data a little bit. I think next update, when I look at Cosmic Eclipse, it's going to be fairly close to like $3,500, $3,600 consistent sales in North America. Team Up, this was actually the only box so far that I've checked that was down in terms of average sale price compared to the last update a couple weeks ago, but not by much. I mean, last update, it was $9,200 based on the sales in North America, and I think it was just one sale. This time around, there's two sales, and the average was like $8,925, I think. So very, very close, just a couple $100 off. That really isn't the end of the world. Nothing to honestly bring up. It's not super relevant, but it's crazy that these older boxes are just continuing to climb, and we're getting to a point now where I look at the Sword and Shield era, because people really aren't talking about this right now. These boxes are starting to become undervalued compared to the Sun and Moon and XY era. There's no way in my mind that the people buying these up, the Team Ups, the Unbroken Bonds, the Cosmic Eclipse Unified Minds, the Flash Fire, the what else in there, Phantom Forces from the XY era, Sun and Moon era, it doesn't matter, Black and White era, you could even throw some boxes in there. The people buying these, they're eventually going to start looking at the Sword and Shield era and going, hey, Fusion Strike's like $700 a box. Evolving Skies is only $2,000. We're paying $3,000, $4,000 for Cosmic. We're paying $9,000 for Team Up, right? Like we can buy Evolving for $2,000, and it's really just going to take off at that point. These Sword and Shield sets really do seem like a ticking time bomb. And again, I could be wrong here. I could be completely off base. These sets could go flat for the next 6 months, a year, 2 years, who knows? Maybe they just never go any higher. Everything goes to zero. That is a possibility, right? But when I look at the people buying these boxes, it just feels like it's new money entering the hobby. Very large whales buying up a lot of this product. The sell-through rate on some of these boxes is fairly legit too. I mean, it's definitely not on par with the Scarlet and Violet era or the Sword and Shield era, but the boxes are getting more expensive every single month, and it just seems like the same amount of boxes are selling. And that's not just for booster boxes, also ETB Shining Legends. If you guys have been following this, I think it's up to kind of like mid 600-ish range. You see sales around $700 the odd time. A couple months ago, I mean, this was like a $400 ETB, $500. So it's not just the booster boxes, it's also the ETBs. We've seen in the XY era, the Double Crisis 4-pack blister bundles, those things that were a very weird product and way to distribute the product, those have continued to increase in price. So it's just everything, every single set across the board continuing to climb. I wouldn't be surprised by the end of the year if pretty much all of the Sun and Moon booster boxes are over $1,000 outside of like maybe Crimson Invasion and Sun and Moon base. I think Burning Shadows, Guardians Rising, those will get there. It just seems like it's inevitable at this point, even though there's only like, what, 5 months, 6 months left in the year. But as all these boxes like Team Up, Unbroken Bonds, Unified Minds, Cosmic, even throwing in like Celestial Storm, any box basically, as these get more expensive and the gap between them and the Sword and Shield era widens, it just seems more likely that people are going to go back and start pumping the Sword and Shield era eventually. I mean, we're not getting more Evolving Skies. We're not getting more Fusion Strike Lost Origin. It's just not going to happen. So people need to assume that the amount of boxes out there right now, that's all we have. Every single day, there are less boxes in existence. I know people want to talk about nobody's opening packs. Nobody's actually doing that. It's just investors selling to investors. You can go look at the numbers, guys. go look at the PSA pop reports for cards. We're definitely not in January or February anymore, December. Those days are long gone. But people are still opening a lot of packs. Like, it legit is still happening. Whether you deny it or not, you can just go look at the pop reports, which are kind of just irrefutable data. Obviously, we can kind of argue about which percentage of cards actually get sent off for grading. Some people think it's 10%. Some people think it's 5%. Some people probably think it's 20 or 30% for certain cards. Whatever it is, right? The reality is there's still hundreds of thousands, if not millions of packs getting ripped on a daily basis in the Pokemon world. And we will go deeper into this tomorrow when we look at the Sword and Shield era and we do a complete update. But just go to TCG Player and look at a couple of these boxes because they are starting to take off when I look at the amount of sales. So for Evolving Skies, I mean, this box has been fairly steady, but you can see around here a couple weeks ago, there started being a few more sales than normal on Evolving Skies, at least on TCG Player. In eBay and in the spreadsheet, when we're looking at it, it's probably about the same. I think some weeks it's even lower, so it kind of fluctuates. But Fusion Strike and TCG Player, you can see over the past week, a lot of boxes have started moving again. Same thing with Lost Origin. Over the past week, we've kind of seen the sell-through rate go up, and also the box price. Lost Origin's back to like $510. The most recent sales too, if you go in here and check, $559 for a booster box. And it doesn't just seem like it's Pokemon at this point. I mean, Gundam came out with a new booster box and that's selling incredibly well. One Piece, I mean, Romance Dawn, the blue bottoms, the original print wave, these are going for like $1,400 all day now. It's not just TCG Player, you go to eBay. That's what you have to pay, especially in North America. You might even be up to like 1,500, 1,600 USD at this point. In Europe, it's a little bit cheaper still, like 1,100, 1,200. But this is a box that a year ago was like $600, $700, $800 USD. So insane growth, especially for a One Piece box. We've also seen EBO1. I mean, that popped off and more than doubled within a year. PRBO1, same sort of deal. If you were able to buy it after release when everyone dumped their boxes, you're already up like 150, 200% on that. Magic has had a ton of success as of late, especially with the Final Fantasy release. I imagine Spider-Man is also going to be very popular when that comes later this year. So although I do tend to agree with a lot of the PokeTubers that are quite bearish and saying that the hobby is slowing down, because I think when you just look at the data and how many packs are actually being opened, that is true. Like, I think people are buying a little bit less right now. I think a lot of people and consumers are kind of fed up that they can't get Pokemon cards at the price they could a year or two ago. But in terms of just overall spend in the hobby, I'm not convinced that it's much lower than it was 6 months ago. But as always, you guys can let me know in the comments down below what you think. If you care about One Piece at all, definitely feel free to check the second channel tonight at Straw Hat Speculator. I'm going to be uploading a video talking about the deal I made and which boxes I'm planning to keep and which ones I'm planning to get rid of. If you want to check out all the Sun and Moon data when it's done, link to the spreadsheet at the top of the description as always. With all that said, thank you so much for watching the video. Stay safe wherever you are in the world, and I'll catch you in the next one.